been a minute since I've done one of these. So we're doing a Making the Subconscious Conscious. Today's episode is mirroring and how to use it for your benefit. Or basically how to use it as a tool to detect subconscious behavior and how it manifests in your life. So for example, one of the harder truths I had to face within my healing journey was when you grow up in a narcissistic family dynamic is you actually have those narcissistic behaviors. This doesn't mean you're narcissistic, and I think I've said this many times before. I'm going to say this over and over again because the world is turning that into a bad word, and it's being misunderstood, and it's being misconstrued, and it's being twisted, and it's even being used as a tool to hurt other people. So I'm going to continue to say that until everybody gets their shit together. Now, with my particular, and I use my experience as an example because that's all I know, and I know sometimes we share same experiences. So when I first got divorced, I had to move back in with my mother, and I wanted to heal I was ready to heal all the things because I was continuing to attract the same partner in different skin. So I was told in a reading, because I not only did regular therapy, but I also did spiritual readings, shadow work readings, that I would need to heal my wounds, my family wounds, my mother wounds within the same home in which the trauma took place. And it came up with that whole, you can't heal in the same place you got sick. However, and that is true with many, many things, but like everything else, there's always an exception to the rule. So the medium told me, she couldn't tell me how or why because I definitely did not want to do it, but she mentioned, she's like, there's something about mother, daughter, granddaughter all under the same roof that's going to set and trigger that healing. So this is where mirroring became a thing, or became a tool. So I would get triggered by my mother's behavior, and immediately after getting triggered, I would be angry, and then I would do that exact same thing subconsciously that my mother did to me, to my daughter. And I was able to recognize it then and there, and see it as, oh my gosh, I just did the same thing. It may not look exactly the same, but that same tick I did on my daughter. For example, one of the highlighting things was emotional, being emotionally unavailable. I always thought I was emotionally available. Come to find out I wasn't. But it was within the reactions and the responses of my mother within that time period we lived together that I was able to recognize that same behavior as I was doing to my daughter. For example, not listening to her emotional needs. I was not having my emotional needs met or listened to. I was being talked at instead of supported. And I would do the exact same thing to my daughter. I couldn't provide her emotional support because I didn't even know what that looked like. I thought emotional support was being told what to do and being talked at. So I in turn did that to my daughter. Now those very things that triggered me are the very things that were subconscious behaviors that I would do to my own daughter. And it took a very long time to heal that. I had to go through therapy, behavioral therapy, to learn how to uncondition that and to learn what it meant to be an emotionally available parent. So, and in doing that, I was able to see in the generational line as to, how it started. and not even so much how it started, how it was never there to begin with. You know, this emotional unavailable trait stemmed back to before great-grandmother, great-great-great-grandma. I mean, you talk about a family line so far down. I don't think I know of any stories of, at any point, my family coming from any type of healthy line. So that's one of the things in subconscious behavior is if you can try your best to observe your interactions with your family members and really not react, but observe and get curious about your trigger that's happening, especially when it's, something like a behavior. Start to ask yourself, why is this triggering me? What is it bringing up? And in what ways, especially if it's something done over and over again, do I subconsciously act out this conditioned behavior? Because as children, that's how we learn. We learn by watching. So that's one of the ways to do healing. Of course, this doesn't apply to everybody. It applies to people like me who were heavily conditioned, and we have a lot of subconscious behaviors that we're just not aware of yet. Doesn't make us bad, doesn't make anything we do with malicious intent. It's just behaviors we're trying to recognize. So yeah, I hope this helps. Again, this is an episode of making the subconscious conscious and healing through mirroring with your family. I do not encourage this at all. If you have toxic family and abusive family or anything like that, if there's a reason you're out, stay out. There's other therapies out there that can do behavioral and stuff like that. So also something simple, if you can't afford therapy, then just Google different behavior patterns, belief systems. What are different types of manipulations? What are different types of narcissistic family traits, behavioral patterns? So those help a lot. Some are very shocking. This can only be done with self-compassion, love, and empathy. Don't forget. All right, well, I love you. I hope this helps, and let's make the subconscious conscious.